Hi everyone and welcome back. I'm here together with my friend testing out some meshtastic devices for tracking. It's misty and cold and we're gonna be walking around the park to try and figure out how precise location we can get with meshtastic and how good are these devices for tracking. For this test I'm gonna be using the N39 package from Meshnology that was kindly provided from them. And for the test, one of us will be hiding somewhere here in the park and the other one will be using the device with its location to try and figure out where the different device is. That way we can figure out if the location is good on these devices and if they can really be used in an emergency situation to try and find someone. For the device to do the test, we're gonna be using this N39 kit from Meshnology that they were kind enough to send. It comes with a 3000 milliamp hour battery and it comes with the newer version 4 health tech module, as well as a really nice 3D printed case. This one I have here is what they call the Twilight Purple, and I also have the green case here. These are both 3D printed and they are really nicely made and really well thought of because they indent quite well and they do align quite well, and they have placement for all of the modules including the battery, so you can make a really nice handheld unit. For the device I'm really interested in testing out the HealthTech version 4 module that the kit comes with, because this is the newer and improved version compared to the old V3 hardware. So we have the board here, we have the GPS module, we have the suitable antennas as well as a connector so we can take it outside. We have pin headers and a different antenna, but for now we will not use those. If we take a look at the website, you could see that this is the Twilight Purple and this comes both in black and the green that I also have, and you can just buy the cases or a set with 2 boards and the case as well. That the price is quite competitive if you ask me. Also, at the moment, Meshnology is providing a discount that you can use for our orders. Depending on how much you spend, you're going to get larger and larger discounts. And with that, you're going to get all of the details for what you're purchasing, as well as a nice combination and nice comparison between V3 and V4. Let's see that in practice. If we compare the version 3 side by side, you can see that version 3 was white PCB, version 4 is black, and it has this nice cover over the screen, probably I think to protect it. This was transparent, but this is black and it definitely looks much nicer. It has 2 connectors here on the side, so let's see what those are. So battery and a solar panel. So this now comes with the support for solar charging. I'm not sure if the V3 had that. And this is the connector that we have for the GPS that this didn't have. Now let's try to assemble everything in the case. Now, since I really like how the Twilight Purple looks, I'm gonna use that case for the device, and we're gonna start by attaching the antenna in the case. We need to unscrew this and we can then slid the antenna into the slot here that we need to align with the screw, and I'm gonna add just one of the washers and tighten that up. Actually, I'm gonna switch it the other way around. I'm wondering if that's gonna be long enough for a nice fit with the antenna, but I'm gonna take out the washer and just install it without one. Okay, and it's important that we connect the antenna as well before powering everything, so you never connect these boards with the antenna off. And we can route the coaxial cable in this small channel here that we need to connect on the pin here, so on the connector here. In this bag we have the screws that we need to secure the case, as well as the buttons that we need to add to the board. And as you can see, there are 2 sets of buttons, One of them is for the version 3 of the board and the other one is for version 4, and there is a slight difference in the length of the buttons. So keep that in mind depending on what version you have. I'm having the V4, so I'm gonna add that here before aligning the board. Okay, before I secure everything, I'm gonna add the GPS board. It should go like so. Okay, that's nice and snug. And before securing everything, I'm also gonna plug in the battery. Okay, that should turn on, but let's secure it first. There are some screws here, so this one here that we'll need to use to just secure the board in place, and there are two positions for screws here on the sides. Okay, one of them is secured, and let's add the other one. Now in the kit we also get the double-sided tape that we can use to secure the GPS antenna and the battery, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna switch the cases to the green one ever, so I'm not gonna glue them because this is also quite precise and there is no need for the actual glue because everything sits nice and tight inside. Let's add the cover. Okay, and to secure the case we will need to slit in these screws to the gaps on the side and then use the provided screws to just secure it in place. And there are 6 like so all around the case. So let's add one on the top. Now, if you watched any of my previous videos where I used the devices, I had a complaint on one of them for the alignment of the screws because it wasn't that easy to get them aligned correctly and screw them in place, but they've definitely fixed that because you can see now all of this is going very smoothly and I don't need to bother at all to align the screws because everything is just perfectly aligned. Which is a nice thing to see when you are providing feedback to a company that they'll listen and they'll actually implement the suggestions that you give them, which is super nice. There's also this one here. And with that, this is now complete. The screen is a bit dim, but I think we can actually adjust this in the firmware. Now, next up is to add the meshtastic firmware to the device. And to upload the firmware, I have this connected to the computer and we'll need to go to the flasher utility that meshtastic provides. At first, we need to select the target device and we need to select HealthTech and then version 4, which is the latest one here. We're gonna need to select the version that we want to use. I'm gonna use actually I'm gonna go for the beta, so I'm gonna go for the stable one, so the latest beta that we have, and then we can hit flash. Okay, when we continue, I'll leave everything as per the defaults, and this should be our device. We'll need to see if we'll need to press on any of the buttons or if this will be recognized automatically. I think it's gonna be, yeah, so you can see that currently we're uploading the firmware and this should be done in just a few seconds. Okay, that's almost complete and we'll see if the device restarts or if we will need to restart it ourselves. I think we'll need to restart it ourselves, so I'm gonna press the reset button here. And we'll give it a few seconds to boot up. Okay, let's try maybe a different firmware. So I'm gonna select the alpha and try the same. And I'm gonna select full erase. Okay, so this says that it's done, but I still don't see anything on the device. There was a beep from the computer. I'm not sure if that was from the cable. But we actually have the welcome to Meshtastic screen. If you can actually see that, but it's very dim. So it says click to navigate and long press to select or open a menu. Okay, got it. So, and we need to set the frequency. So I'm gonna go to EU 868, which is what we use here where I am. And this says rebooting. Now the screen is actually really dim and I had to turn off my lights here on the bench so you can actually see it. Let's try to go into the settings menu. So let's hold press and there's display options, brightness, and this is medium. Let's turn it to high. Okay, that's a bit better, but still not really good, to be honest. Let's connect this to the phone. Yeah, the screen is really dim on the V4. This is a version 3 and you can see that it's much more visible. I don't know if there is a film on the screen that we need to take out so it's brighter, but we'll continue as it is. These are my other two nodes, so let's connect the device and I'm gonna turn the scanning on. So this one is FD40. I'm gonna select it and it gives me a code that I need to enter. So 895025. Okay, bonding failed. Let's try that again. Okay, now it says that it's connected. Oh yeah, so I'm connected to it. Let's try to update some of the features. Okay, so that's all set. I named this as the TTC tracker and let's try and message just a different node that I have here. Or let's try to message the default channel. And I got it here. And I also got it on this other node. Let's try to send a direct message. And we get that, although the other one seems to have died out the battery, but this one we got. Now, I'm not really sure if this gonna get the location. I mean, it's good enough, at least it's in the general area, but I'm inside and I don't think that it's gonna find satellite signal. Yeah, if you can see that. So it says no satellites and no GPS log. Next thing is to go outside and try to test this out. Okay, so I had this outside for a few minutes and it actually got a position for the GPS. I'm hiding the actual latitude and longitude because this is actually my home that I don't want to share outside. But as soon as we go outside to test, then I'm gonna show you the exact position. And here I am outside. The screen on the N39 on the Heltec V4 board is barely visible, but I'm locking in at 11 satellites, and these are the two devices, the one that I have and the other one for my friend. The FT40 is mine, and this basically correlates with the location that we have from the phone GPS, meaning that this is at least accurate enough right now. We'll see how that goes in the actual test. At the moment, Slavko will go and hide somewhere within the park, and I have no idea where he's gonna go. The idea is that I'm gonna use Meshtastic with the GPS on my device and on his device to try and figure out where he is. Okay, so he is now walking away. And if we take a look at the device, the location hasn't updated yet, but we'll see. We have the update interval set to about 1 minute. So every minute the location should be updated and broadcasted to our devices. We'll see how that behaves. At the same time, we're also testing the communication possibilities. So I just sent him a message and I can see that he actually received it. We'll see when he manages to reply back. I no longer see him here in the park. So here I got the reply back and the communication is updating and happening. I'm gonna send him a like, and I just received the word that he is lost and I need to try and find him. Let's check on the map. Yeah, so he doesn't really went that far, so we should be able to figure out the location and the direction. Okay, so based on the direction, he should be somewhere in front. So let's start walking and figure out how fast we can find him. Since the phone is also connected to the internet, you can see that we are getting that small blue dot with the direction that uses the phone GPS, and we can see from that that we are walking in the right direction, but we still have some way to go until we reach him. Okay, seems to be that we're getting close to him. I think I'm about halfway to his location, and I'm still walking in the right direction, which is that way. Now I came to this point, and based on the location I can see that his device should be somewhere up ahead, but I don't see him here. But if I turn around, then you'll see that I'm at the same distance, but he's actually way over there in the woods, but the location is not really showing that. The location that I can see is that he's in this direction, a bit to the left from me, based on the map and the north position. Now it updated, so you see we need to go a little bit to the right, and based on this a little bit further, but I can already see him over there in the woods. Now again, this all depends on the device position. You can see that as soon as I started walking on the right close to him, that the device updated its location, and it's now more relevant to where he is compared to before. So this still relies on having a good lock on the GPS signal. Now that we've both come together, you can see that our locations are basically lined up perfectly, and he's right next to me with his device. So given enough time, the location will actually get more precise. Being an overcast weather with a lot of fog definitely doesn't help, because that can affect the GPS signal and the communication signal. But overall, if you're lost in the mountain, you can get within a few meters of the person that you're trying to find, and that's definitely good enough for tracking. And with that, I'm gonna end the video right here. I hope that you find this demo interesting, and that we managed to spark an interest into meshtastic, so you can give it a try. The N39 was definitely a good choice for testing this, and I have links down in the video description for it and for other meshtastic devices. If you like this video, then I'm gonna ask you to subscribe. YouTube thinks that you're gonna like this video next, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Cheers!